Hello, everyone. This is Aishah Adams, the Mind Doctor, and you're welcome back to another of my podcasts. Today, we'll be talking about what does vulnerability mean to you. Yes, interesting topic, right? Stay tuned, and we will be right back. So, I am back. What does vulnerability mean to you? What is this word, vulnerability? When I was in my uni days, I had this friend, Candy, and I remember that we used to have some back and forth conversations. And one time, I think he asked me, "Why are you so defensive?" or something along those lines. And well, that sort of made me feel quite uncomfortable. I'm like, okay, I think I'm actually defensive. At that time, I was still struggling with the concept of vulnerability and really getting down. And I think that I remembered going on to have a conversation around being defensive and all of that with another friend of mine, and this person was like, well, I think I quite agree with him. I think you're defensive, why are you quite so defensive and all of that. And it got me really uncomfortable because I was like, okay, these people have found me out. Because at that time, I hadn't gotten to this, obviously, this status of emotional strength where I am able to take ownership of stuff that happened to me, and I'm able to speak to those pain points or speak to those things without flinching or thinking that the world is against me and all of those kinds of thoughts that I used to raise in my head. And when I think back to who I used to be, I realized that I used to be a lot in my head. And aren't we all? Aren't we all almost always in our heads? Why are you thinking of vulnerability as a taboo in many cultural communities? Vulnerability is seen as a bad thing. It's seen as, how dare you be vulnerable? It's seen as, how dare you talk about any kind of pain or discomfort or thing that you're being through. You have to act macho. You have to pretend. You have to cover things up. Everything has to have fluff. Really? My question to you is, for how long are we going to live in that bubble of deceit? How long? A year? A month? 10 years? A lifetime? And the question is, when you live in this bubble, do you see yourself as living or just existing? I got into a chat with an old friend yesterday, and I remember saying something along the lines of, oh, you know what, I have grown and I realized that I'm more vulnerable and stuff like that. And the person said, we are not we're not raised to embrace vulnerability, and I quite agree. And my question to you is that, isn't it about time that we started to challenge those cultural norms that have held us in prisons that we built for ourselves? Yes. So this prison of emotional enslavement or encagement, as it feels like many times, is something that we built for ourselves. Like, we put ourselves in that cage. We tell ourselves it is not okay to take ownership of our emotions and feel. Vulnerability is a strength. If you don't take anything from this podcast, please take that away. It is a strength of courage, it is a strength that shows that you are intentional about truly living an experience in life. I am so bummed that I only discovered the beauty and power of vulnerability in my mid years. I wish I knew this earlier when I was young. I was, alive and all of that. But, thankfully, I'm not dead when I'm talking to you. And so there is another opportunity to relive life and to be fully present in this time. And this is what I am calling you to. I am inviting you, my listeners, to embracing vulnerability as the strength and beauty that it is. Isn't it a lack of vulnerability that makes us feel a certain kind of way to a certain person, and we hide from saying it or voicing it? Yes, I understand that sometimes it's inappropriate, but beyond the inappropriateness, there are actually times when we actually feel a certain way about a person in a given space and time, and we do not take ownership of that emotion because, our ego will not let us, or because we have told ourselves all kinds of, funny things, that prevents us from experiencing and taking ownership. And by the time we are looking to take ownership of the emotions we had felt or the way that we experienced, that space and that person, we see that it's too late. And then we start to figure out how to sort things out. What if the next time you feel a certain kind of way about someone, you tell them? What if you show friendship towards somebody that you really would like to have in your corner and who can only be a friend to you? What if we give ourselves the permission to truly feel the emotion that, flows through our body at every given time, and we acknowledge them at the very least? What if we're able to truly say, I need your help, or I would like you to be my friend, or I would like you to be there for me? What if we are just able to truly take ownership of who we are at our core, of what emotions that we're feeling, and live and be present as we live? To be present is to take charge of whatever it is that is going through your mind and your soul, and at least acknowledge, and if possible, take a step further and do something about it, because you only live once. It is not so much as what has gone, because what has gone can probably not be changed. But the question is, what are you doing with the now? What are you doing differently so you do not have similar kinds of regrets like you have had in the past? Vulnerability is a powerful tool that helps you live freely, intentionally, and more importantly, passionately. It helps you to live and truly experience life. And it gives you the permission to be courageous, to be determined, to be everything that you can be. I think that many of us are struggling with the concept of vulnerability. And I don't expect you to immediately switch, but I invite you to give my words some thoughts. If any of the things that I said resonated with you, then definitely click the subscribe button and share this with somebody. And if you would like to share your thoughts with me, then send me a message at aishah.adams12@gmail.com. That is aishah.adams12@gmail.com. Or you could send me an email at that is me@aishahadams.com. Okay then, take care. Until next time. Bye.